You ever find yourself just scrolling, maybe playing some simple game on your phone or checking scores, and you look up and bam, an hour is just gone? Yeah, that's not just you. And trust me, it is not an accident. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden psychology that makes these apps so powerful.
It's a pretty wild question when you think about it, right? I mean, logically, you'd think we'd just stop. If we're not winning, why keep playing? But, our brains, they don't really operate on that kind of logic. To get to the bottom of this, we've got to follow a few clues about how we're all wired.
All right, so clue number one, to crack this whole thing open, we have to look deep inside our own heads at our brain chemistry. See, before we can even begin to understand the apps, we first have to get a handle on this one specific chemical. It's the thing that gets us off the couch, the thing that makes us want stuff. And that chemical is dopamine. Now, I'm sure you've heard of it, but there's this massive misunderstanding about what it actually does. Here's the key thing to remember. It's not about the reward itself. It's the chemical that motivates you. It's the driver that makes you seek out a reward in the first place. And that little distinction, it is absolutely crucial. So yeah, this completely reframes the whole picture. Dopamine isn't the happy feeling of getting the reward. Nope. It's the itch of anticipation. It's not the joy of winning the jackpot. It's that powerful, nagging urge to pull the lever just one more time, because you might win this time. It's the engine of wanting. Okay, so if dopamine is the fuel, the gas in our motivation tank, then you've got to think of these app designers as master mechanics. They know exactly how to tune that engine to get it to run all day, all night. And their number one go-to tool? It's the simple but oh so powerful idea of maybe. Seriously, just think about it for a second. Imagine I've got two buttons here. Button A gives you $1, guaranteed, every single time you press it. Kind of nice, but it's going to get boring fast. Now, button B. With that one, you might get $1,000 or you might get nothing. Which button are you going to be hammering on all afternoon?
Yeah, exactly.
The answer, it turns out, is baked right into our brain chemistry. We go absolutely nuts for uncertain rewards. That maybe, that feeling of not knowing what's going to happen, it triggers a way bigger dopamine spike than any boring old guarantee ever could. And that right there, that's the reason we can't stop checking our phones or spinning that wheel one more time. Okay, this leads us to our third clue, and this one is seriously weird. It's probably the most counterintuitive piece of the whole puzzle. It's a psychological trick that honestly feels like a glitch in the human brain. And it's one of the most powerful weapons in a designer's playbook, the thrill of the near miss. And I'm not speaking in metaphors here. This is real neuroscience. When you have a near miss, like getting two cherries lined up on a slot machine but missing the third, your brain lights up in almost the exact same way it would for an actual win. It's a loss, technically, but your brain registers it as, wow, I'm close. I should definitely try again. So here's the kicker. A win and a near miss, they both hit that same dopamine button. That feeling of, so close. It isn't discouraging at all. It's the opposite. It's a huge motivator. It's like a shot of do it again juice pumped straight into your brain, telling you to keep going. All right, we've got all our clues on the table now. We've got dopamine, our motivation molecule. We've got the power of maybe, that uncertain reward. And we've got the bizarre thrill of the near miss. So let's put it all together. Let's see what happens when these things are combined and, let's be honest, weaponized. What you get is a perfect, inescapable loop. Dopamine gets the engine started. The uncertainty, the maybe, keeps your foot on the gas. And then the near misses trick you into thinking a huge win is right there, which just dumps more fuel into the tank. And that cycle just pulls you in deeper and deeper into this totally engineered state where you just can't look away. And there's a name for that state. It's called dark flow. You know that feeling of flow you get when you're totally lost in a project you love and time just flies by? Well, this is like that, but it's a version designed by somebody else for their benefit, not yours. It's a manufactured trance where you lose all track of time, of your surroundings, of everything, except the next scroll, the next like, the next bet. And look, let's be super clear. This is not just about gambling apps. Not at all. These are the exact same psychological tricks that power the infinite scroll on your social media feed. They're behind the loot boxes in video games. They're even in the dings and pings of your phone's notifications. This whole system is the engine of what we call the attention economy. It's all designed to hook you and keep you. And just knowing that,
Just understanding how the trick works, that's the first and most important step to taking back control.
So, next time you find yourself an hour deep in some app, maybe just take a second, pull back, and ask yourself this. When an app knows your brain's playbook better than you do, who's really playing who?
You know what I'm talking about. They're right there in our pockets. We grab them when we're bored, when we're stressed, maybe even right before we fall asleep. Yep, gambling apps. In just a few short years, they have completely changed the game, moving betting from the casino floor and putting it smack dab in the palm of your hand. But how they keep you hooked? Well, that's a masterclass in hacking your brain. So, let's get into it.
All right, so let me ask you something. You ever open one of these apps just for a second and then, poof, a half hour is just gone, vanished? Or how about this? Have you ever found yourself chasing just one more spin, even when that little voice in your head is screaming, hey, it's time to stop?
Yeah, if that sounds familiar, I want you to know something. That feeling, it's not a coincidence. It's not you being weak, and it's definitely not a lack of willpower. Nope, it's something way more intentional than that. It is pure calculated design.
See, these modern gambling apps, they aren't just games. Not at all. Think of them more like perfectly tuned psychological machines. They're engineered piece by piece to tap directly into the oldest, most powerful reward circuits in your brain. And today, we're going to pop the hood and see exactly how they pull it off.
Okay, so the first step in the playbook is to get you into this very specific headspace. The designers actually have a name for it, dark flow. And it's that state where the entire world outside your phone just melts away.
Now, you've probably felt healthy flow before, right? It's when you're totally in the zone, maybe working on a project you love or playing a sport. You're focused, you're making progress, you're achieving something. But dark flow? Well, it's kind of like its evil twin. The goal here isn't to build or create anything. It's just to escape. You're 100% absorbed, but you're not going anywhere. You're just spinning your wheels, stuck in a loop.
And how do they create this state? With a few simple, but honestly brilliant tricks. Think about it. Have you ever noticed there are no clocks on the screen? There are no endpoints, no level complete pop-ups. It's just one seamless, repetitive loop. And what this does, by design, is it mutes everything else. Your stress, your bills, all of it. And for your brain, man, that feels like sweet, sweet relief. And our brains are wired to chase anything that feels like relief.
So you're in this timeless bubble, right? The dark flow. That's when the app starts messing with your brain chemistry. And this is where we need to talk about a little molecule you've definitely heard of, dopamine. Right at the heart of this whole chemical trick is one of the most powerful psychological hacks there is. It's called the near-miss effect. You know exactly what this feels like. It's when the slot machine reels stop just shy of a jackpot, or your bet loses by one agonizing point. Okay, here's the crazy part. Logically, mathematically, a near miss is the same as a total loss. You get 0. But your brain, it doesn't care about the math. It's a pattern-seeking machine, and when it sees a pattern that's almost complete, it gets confused. It literally thinks, hey, we're making progress, and boom, it releases a shot of dopamine, just like you actually won. It's basically a bug in our system, a fundamental glitch in our wiring.
And this is what that glitch looks like in your brain. A total loss? Your brain barely shrugs. But a near miss? Whoa! It lights up your brain's reward centers almost as much as a real, genuine win. And here's the kicker. These apps are coded to give you near misses way more often than would happen by pure chance. They're just keeping your brain flooded with these false signals that you're about to win.
And this brings us to the biggest myth about dopamine. We all call it the pleasure chemical, but that's not really what it's doing here. In this loop, dopamine is all about motivation. It's the little voice in your head that says, whoa, that was so close, let's go again, now. It doesn't give you a feeling of satisfaction. It gives you an incredible, nagging urge to just keep going.
So let's recap, right? We've got you in a state of dark flow, where time doesn't exist. Your brain is getting juiced with motivational dopamine from all these near misses. But what's the master key that locks this whole system together? It's one incredibly powerful idea: uncertainty.
It's a weird question, I know. You'd think a guaranteed win would be the most addictive thing in the world, right? A sure thing. But turns out our brains are wired a little differently. For our brains, predictability is actually kind of boring.
The real hook, the thing that's truly addictive, is the maybe. It's the not knowing. That uncertainty is what keeps our brain buzzing,
totally hooked, and desperate to find out what happens next. The waiting, the suspense, that's the real drug here.
So get this, your biggest dopamine hit doesn't actually come when you win or lose. It spikes before the result is even shown. It's that moment of pure anticipation. The wheel is spinning, the cards are turning. That's the peak. So the addiction isn't really for the win. It's for that feeling of waiting for it. And these apps are absolute masters of this balancing act. They give you just enough tiny wins to keep you hopeful, and just enough losses to keep that maybe alive and kicking.
So you put it all together. You've got the timeless state of dark flow, you've got a glitch in your brain chemistry being exploited, and you've got the incredible power of maybe. What you're left with isn't really a game anymore. It's a system, a perfectly designed system with one single goal: keep you tapping that screen for as long as humanly possible.
So let's just lay out the core playbook one more time. First, you've got dark flow. That's what makes time and all your worries just vanish. Then, you've got the near miss, which hacks your brain into getting motivated by failure. And finally, uncertainty, which makes the waiting for the prize even better than the prize itself.
Look, knowing all this isn't about judging anyone. It's about giving yourself a superpower, awareness, because the moment you can see the machine working, the moment you feel that little rush from a near miss, and you can say to yourself, ah, there it is, that's the trick, that's when you can start to break its hold. Simply recognizing the design is how you break the spell.
Honestly, your best defense against this kind of psychological design is just knowing how the trick is done. So the next time you feel that little tug, that just one more spin feeling, maybe you'll see what's really going on behind the curtain. And that's the real question, isn't it? Now that you've seen the design, can you ever really unsee it?